Elon Musk is on track to become the world's first trillionaire by 2027. Musk is the closest person to the 13-figure mark.
The biggest driver of Elon Musk's wealth has been Tesla stock. If you look before the pandemic, that stock was trading at below $50 a share. Now it's at $230 a share. Some people think it could easily go to $300 a share if they have self-driving taxis, autonomous vehicles.
But not all Americans benefit from stock market plays. Wealth inequality in the U.S. has significantly increased over the past 30 years. Federal Reserve data shows the wealth of the top 1% has grown dramatically, while the wealth of the bottom 50% has stagnated. In the early 1990s, the top 1% held about $4.76 trillion, or 23% of the nation's wealth, while the bottom 50% had about $730 billion in equity, or 3.5% of total wealth. Fast forward to Q1 2024, the top 1% share increased to nearly $46.1 trillion, or 30% of the total wealth, while the bottom 50% held $3.78 trillion, or 2.5% of total wealth.
The American system, which is an economy fundamentally driven by entrepreneurs and innovation, where you're rewarded for taking risks, that creates growth for everybody.
While others feel that wealth concentration can be harmful to society.
Elon Musk, the guy behind Tesla, SpaceX, and a bunch of other tech dreams, is on track to become the world's first trillionaire by 2027. That's 13 figures, people. Let that sink in. Now one wonders, how does $1 trillion even fit in your wallet? Maybe Musk will develop an app for that too. But before we get too starry-eyed about Musk's rise, let's take a step back and explore how he's managed to stack those billions, and whether we should all be inspired or maybe a little bit concerned. Okay, let's talk Tesla. Remember when Tesla stock was chilling below $50 a share before the pandemic? If you had invested back then, congratulations. You're probably riding on some serious gains right now. Fast forward to today, and Tesla's stock is trading at around $230 a share. People are buzzing about it possibly hitting $300 if Tesla's self-driving cars hit the streets like they promise. But if you're thinking, okay, where's my piece of this Tesla pie? Well, you're not alone. Most of us aren't getting VIP seats on the rocket ship to riches. It's like this. Elon Musk is already on Mars, and most of us are still stuck in traffic here on Earth. But here's the thing. While Tesla and Musk keep rocketing upwards, the wealth inequality in the US is skyrocketing too. Let's throw some numbers your way, don't worry. I'll make it painless. Back in the early 90s, the top 1% of Americans held about $4.76 trillion. That was around 23% of the country's total wealth. Meanwhile, the bottom 50%, yep, half of the country, held just 3.5% of the wealth, around $730 billion. Fast forward to 2020, and the top 1% are now sitting on a cool $46.1 trillion. That's 30% of the nation's wealth. Meanwhile, the bottom 50% went from 3.5% to 2.5%. Yikes. It's like watching two athletes race, but one's running on a treadmill that's stuck in place while the other has a jetpack strapped to their back. So, what's driving this gap? In the US, the economy is largely driven by entrepreneurs and innovation. People like Musk are celebrated for taking huge risks and building giant companies that create jobs, push technology forward, and generate serious wealth. And to be fair, Musk is the poster child for taking risks. I mean, this is the guy who decided, you know what? I'm going to send cars to space. Because why not? And that risk-taking is a part of the American dream. A dream where, in theory, anyone can succeed. Of course, in theory, I can also win the lottery tomorrow. The odds just aren't quite in my favor. While some argue that this wealth concentration is just part of the system. Hey, you take risks, you reap rewards. Others are sounding the alarm bells. They worry that if all the money keeps flowing to the top, we could end up with even more inequality, which could harm society as a whole. Think about it. If the gap keeps growing, soon the 1% might own everything, and the rest of us are just asking, hey, Elon, can we borrow your spaceship? We need some air up here. But seriously, it raises big questions. How do we keep innovation alive and reward risk-taking, while also making sure the wealth doesn't just get stuck at the top? So, as Musk heads towards trillionaire status by 2027, the rest of us might want to take a step back and think, how does this affect us? Is this economic system working for everyone, or just for a few? One thing's for sure, Elon Musk is not slowing down. And as he blazes his trail to becoming the first trillionaire, the rest of us will be watching, and maybe wishing for a Tesla stock boost. Maybe next year I'll be saying, Elon, can you spare $1 billion? You know, just to get some snacks.